In distant centuries they lie, poisoning with greedy minds, relentless thirst for power. Now in its final hour, Lucifer to bring the end. Viking Death Squad! Heavy metal guitar. Welcome to Bastard Quest. I'm Kyle.
I'm Todd.
Corey.
I'm Austin.
Today we're playing Viking Death Squad, which is a game that's basically just heavy metal in a game. And you play immortal undead Vikings fighting Satan and the war pigs in the year 10,191.
Okay.
I'm glad we're all on board. So, Viking Death Squad is a game from Runehammer, which is one dude who's a very cool dude, a great artist named Brandish Gilhelm. He's got a YouTube channel, Runehammer, and he's got some other games. Index Card RPG, I think, is one, but this one is super metal.
Yeah, this is super fucking cool.
It's cool, and the art is amazing.
Yeah,
the art is really good.
My compliments. There is some big Mike Mignola notes happening in,
that's true.
This art. This is awesome.
So I met Brandish at a convention this year, but before that, I'd actually tried to play Viking Death Squad at Gen Con last year, and the game got canceled. I had no idea what it was. I just saw Viking Death Squad on the list and signed up. Yeah. I said, guys, we're going to play this.
Yeah.
And all my friends agreed.
Yes.
Because
with a title like that, you buy it and sign up sight unseen.
And so I after I figured out who he was, I was like, hey, we have this dumb podcast.
That's how I just greet people every day.
Yeah. My mailman is always very confused. And I said, we would love to play Viking Death Squad. So he said, that's awesome. I will write up a custom scenario. And I blushed. And,
I feel like, I mean, whenever you see Viking Death Squad, no matter like what the context is, like if you were like renting videos on a Friday night and you saw Viking Death Squad, you're going to rent that fucking movie. If that's like the special on the Denny's menu, you're going to order that shit. You know, I'll have the Viking Death Squad.
How could you not, if you go to Denny's and have Viking Death Squad next to the platter of pancakes,
Right.
Yeah.
you're going to at least ask,
Moon's
now,
over my hammy. Viking Death Squad.
You know, if you're at the strip club and you're, hey, up next on the main stage, it's Viking Death Squad.
They
You're
always-
gonna get your money out.
They always overcook my nails.
About the Viking Death Squad, it's a Viking severed head shoved with lasagna with cherries on top. And sausage on the side.
Oh, nice. Links or...
Well, of course it's Lynx, it's Denny's.
Yeah.
So you play in this horrible war-torn future, Earth is being invaded by the war pigs. Yes, I'm pretty sure this entire game is condensed from a Black Sabbath song.
Cool.
And you play the Immortals, undead Vikings that have been resurrected to... Well, I guess the backstory of the game is you were originally created by the war pigs as the weapons, but then you escape and you fight for the humans. But it's a game about axes and armor and exploding spaceships and just generally being metal AF. So the rules, it is I don't like calling games rules light.
Diet rules? Is that better?
Yeah. Okay. It's
like the Splenda of games.
streamlined so you can play it fast and metal.
Gluten-free.
So really the only dice you need are six-sided dice. When your character's doing something, you roll d6s based on one of your stats or your skills. This is an interesting thing that this game does. So the GM doesn't pick like a static difficulty number. If the GM thinks, oh, okay, so this is a difficult test, right? He rolls 4 dice. Then he adds up the sum of his dice, and that's your target number.
Okay.
I particularly like that because I'm always like, I don't know, 10.
Yeah.
Difficulty 10. There's 3 main kinds of tests. There's the test, which is like you're trying to use a skill to do something. An attack, which is you're going to use power or aim, plus any dice from gear or circumstance or anything. And you're trying to beat the enemy's speed, like that's their main defensive stat. And then reaction, when you're attacked or the environment explodes with hazards, you roll the stat called for to avoid getting hit, poisoned, or blown to bits. There's turns like in Dungeons and Dragons, movement, it's arm's length, ranged, or out of reach. The other thing we need to talk about is armor is life. So you don't really have hit points. If you get hit, you're dead.
Oh.
But when you get hit, you can, if you have armor, your armor takes the hit. And each piece of armor you have can take 3 hits.
Okay.
And then if all your armor is destroyed and you get hit, boom, you're done.
I see down here at the bottom of the character sheet, we have 3 allotments for death.
Yes, all your characters for this scenario are immortals, but you can actually play as humans in the game too. Humans, when they die, they're dead. Immortals, you can die 3 times before you finally are dead. Oh, and actually, if you played like a full campaign as like the human resistance fighting the war pigs and hell, if you go through the lives of 10 immortals, like let's say you have 10 immortal characters through the life of that campaign, and each of them dies 3 times, then your campaign loses.
Oh.
Humans lose, and the war pigs are Lucifer wins.
Okay.
Not many role-playing games have a failure scenario, but I like that this one does.
Yeah, I kind of like there being like just an automatic fail state.
Yeah, you just fail, and you're terrible people.
Yeah, so that's right up Kyle's alley.
I loved it. I immediately...
That's why Kyle bought it.
I high-fived myself. Anytime your roll is 12 or more beyond the goal, you've scored a crit. So if it's difficulty 5 and you roll a 17, it's a crit.
Got it.
And with a crit, you can destroy a piece of armor completely, take another turn instantly, mark a bubble on a blood rune, or if using a skill, mark off 2 bubbles to improve that skill. Which we probably won't advance any skills in this. You guys are probably gonna
Die.
Nah, you'll be fine.
Okay. And blood runes. There's blood runes in each corner of the sheet here.
Yeah, that's one of the advancements mechanics. As you accumulate blood runes, you can get new abilities and what have you for your character. It's a XP tracking, basically.
Got it.
Cool.
So pushing gear. Okay, so all gear in Viking Death Squad has 3 hits. The third hit, it's crossed off, the gear is destroyed. Now, normal uses do not expend hits. So if you're just normally shooting somebody with your gun, it doesn't expend hits.
Gotcha.
Hits are expended when gear is damaged or pushed beyond its normal limits. So you can push for 1 hit, add plus 1d onto the roll, hit 1d4 foes with a single attack, or earn a bonus attack even on a miss. So you can push 1 hit, put it on the item, and do those things. Now, you do have one special stat called Resolve, and that drains and refills over time. And if you rest in a safe place for more than an hour, you can regain all spent Resolve dice before you move on. Yeah, so a basic action roll would be, if you're going to shoot something, you take your aim and however many dice you have. And then if your weapon gives you any bonuses, you can take that. If circumstance gives you any bonuses, like you're at point blank range, you might get some bonus dice.
Okay.
And we have skills that can enhance that too.
Again, as I said, with Resolve, that fills and gets spent, and you can spend Resolve on any roll at any time as a boost. So Resolve is kind of a currency you can dole out to try to be better and be happier.
Okay.
And live your life to its fullest.
And Kyle, you told us earlier this game is based around Black Sabbath's War Pigs.
Yes.
But I believe Brandish actually designed this scenario after a Slayer album. Is that correct?
I think it's Britney Spears,
Oh,
but let me check his notes.
half a dozen of one.
Oh, no, you're right. It was Slayer. I forgot.
Okay, got it.
I get them
Seasons in the Abyss, I
Is it
believe.
Seasons in the Abyss?
It is Season of the Abyss, yeah.
Arguably the last great Slayer record.
Well, he calls it the 1990 track Brings the Heaviest of Chunga.
Okay.
Which, yeah, so this is called Seasons in the Abyss is the name of the scenario and, of course, the name of that Slayer album. Do you want to talk about your Vikings?
Totally. And not only did we get custom artwork for the characters, Brandish also kind of created just this custom document for this adventure that also has artwork integrated into it.
Yeah, he did a full-blown scenario.
This is wonderful.
It's above and beyond.
I can't believe someone did something this nice for us.
When we partner with other podcasts to do something like this, I'm not going to tell them
This is kind
what
of
he did because I don't want them to feel bad about themselves and their failure. Todd, tell us about your character.
My character is Captain Olaf. We all have a debt and an oath and a code, and his debt is, the All-Father tasked me with commanding the immortals. I will do so. And his code is, I will work with the humans, but never trust them. They hate our kind. I wish they would just walk away.
Corey?
I'm playing Ingrid Rollo's daughter. Her father was the creator of the caramel chocolate snack.
I knew there was a joke in there
He was
somewhere.
an evil man. Those things get stuck in your teeth. Her debt is, Lucifer keeps my soul in his black book. I am bound to answer when he calls. Her oath is, I will harness the power of X weapons for the immortal cause. And her code, I can never harm an agent of hell, such is my binding.
Oh.
That sounds like Rolos to me.
Yes.
And we'll definitely put the artwork up on our social media because
hell
they're
yeah.
all really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, she looks really cool, armored up, got a big cable from the X-Men gun. It's awesome.
Austin?
So I've got Mad Gunnar, or Mad Gunner. He's the wild card, definitely. So my debt is, I am a servant of the cosmos and owe it the souls of these pests. My oath is, the Reaper has come. Death to all of them. There are no allies. Death. Death.
Lord.
But my favorite is the code. I will never relent, never rest until the universe is entombed in silence.
Okay. So when
Jesus.
did we start on this show giving Austin the craziest?
I don't...
Was there a meeting I missed? Corey, I blame you.
Okay, I'm sorry.
So yeah, he gave us like 10 characters. I don't know, a bunch, and they were all really cool. And so the guys had to spend a minute to figure out which ones they wanted to play.
Yeah.
Well, let's play this shit.
Ever do the warriors of the past rot and suffer in the cryo hells of the war pigs? Ever dying but unable to die are these mighty folk, made into commodities in the age of machines, the 100th century. Ever do they scream long after the death of the earth and Lucifer's rise? Of these an unlucky few are cut and bolted, fused with metal and blade, stitched and severed again and again in an endless torture of experimentation, the X-Weapon Project. Deep in Satan's laboratories are these things made and kept, their minds imprisoned, their bodies abominable. A death squad to kill the immortals, betrayers enslaved, drifting in frozen nightmares while the machines and monsters toil at their flesh. You are these things. You are the X-Weapons. Tonight, now, it is time to awaken.
This week on Dr. Phil.
Lord.
So, you awaken, suddenly, entombed in a cluttered laboratory. There are huge cables and hoses running everywhere. Something is shaking the room, you're not sure what. Brimstone drifts through the choked air. Distant flames crackle, and the screams of souls, flayed for eternity, echo on the stone ceilings. Each of you is confined in a heavy canister, frozen solid, with a massive iron helmet bolted onto your skull. So you are the X-Weapons who've been this experimental project in hell, much to your ignorance. But as you come to wakefulness, for whatever reason, you see no one around you, and then the far wall of the laboratory collapses, sending rubble and smoke drifting through the room, and a heap of crawling, confused cybernetic skeletons crash into your chamber, tearing everything in the laboratory apart in a mindless rage.
Just like 4-H camp.
We're going to be right into combat, right out the gate. There's no initiative in this system. It's just hero, enemy, hero, enemy, hero, enemy. And who wants to go first? I'll let you guys decide amongst yourselves which of you will deal with the situation immediately.
Todd, maybe the captain takes first initiative?
Sure. He's a captain. He's a leader. He'll set the example.
So we're encased in ice, right, Kyle?
Yeah, so the Immortals, the Undead Vikings, the War Pigs keep them in ice on these giant coffin ships in orbit, and will shoot them down to the surface to fight humans and demons and stuff. And so at some point, some demons kidnapped you, essentially, from one of these ships and have brought you to hell and have been working on you.
Okay.
So Captain Olaf, one of his skills is mechanics. I'm assuming he could use that to extricate himself from his canister.
Sure, how's he doing it?
Turn it off. Push thaw.
His mechanics is a 1D, and I'm thinking wits would also come into play on this.
Sure, yeah.
So that's 3D6.
So I'll say this is average, 3d6. So that's 10, difficulty 10.
Difficulty 10, here we go. I rolled an 11.
Okay, so Todd, what's it look like when Olaf gets out of his icebox?
He looks down and he sees a couple of wires on the inside, and he's like, there's a red one and a green one, and he's trying to remember which one will actually thaw him out and extricate him, and he goes back and forth, and it's like really, there's like a clock ticking on the soundtrack and everything, and he's like red, green, and finally he decides, fuck it, he takes the red one, and he instantly melts, and he is able to burst forth from his icy entombment, and he shouts a battle cry, which kind of sounds like,
So this attracts the attention of the skeletons.
Sure.
A mob of which surge towards you. They're clawing at you, their steely fingers. So they're going to hit you at 11, so you can avoid with your speed as a reaction. So you just roll your speed.
Okay, that is 3d6. Well, I rolled a 10.
You explode.
Jesus.
Or you can take the hit on one piece of your armor.
You know what? I'm just going to take a hit on the armor. Let's take a hit on my Gorgo shell.
Okay, which is a giant insect shell.
Yes, which makes me invisible to giant insects.
Yeah.
Wondering where that was going. It does. That's the actual description.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, of course there are giant insects also. Did I mention those in the beginning?
We are in hell. I mean.
Oh, no, up on Earth.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
They've escaped.
That's what I'm saying. I'm assuming this is like a hell on earth type scenario.
Yeah, the surface of the earth ain't great. It's had better days. I mean, it's like the 70s.
Oh, God.
So the skeleton is raking its claws along the Gorgo shell,
Yes, the Gorgo shell.
and it is Corey's turn. You're in your ice box.
Yeah, it seems safer in here. I'm going to stay put. So one of Ingrid's weapons is a thermite blowtorch. So she's going to melt the ice to get out.
Cool.
Okay, so normally it can cut through anything in 2 rounds. So I'm going to
Correct.
say it can cut through the ice shell in 1 round.
Okay.
So you cut through that. The ice is melting away, sloughing off. You jump out. Part of the debris crushes the skeleton, and his compatriot looks at you. That's the sound skeletons make.
Yeah.
And charges you. And he's going to hit, a 14
Ah, geez.
on your speed.
Okay. I rolled a 10.
Okay, so which armor are you going to take the hit on?
I'm going to take it on my ablative splint. If hit, inflict 1 hit on the attacker.
Ooh, yeah, I forgot
okay.
about that.
So what's it look like when the ablative splint explodes outward?
The skeleton comes at Ingrid and she says, "Oh no, skeletons. I will use my ablative splint on you." And she just kind of like juts.
Is that how she does it?
Yeah, she
I
juts
wish
forward.
everyone could see Corey do that.
As the skeleton meets the jut, it is repelled backwards and explodes.
Yeah.
Like, oh no, an ablative splint.
My weakness! Yeah, splint fragments
Splint.
shatter the skeleton.
You've been splinted, skeleton.
And others also take fragmentary shrapnel damage.
Okay.
Austin, your comrades are out of their tubes fighting skeletons that have been pouring in.
Well, Mad Gunner's laughing while he watches his compatriots fighting the skeletons, but he's ready to join the party. So, Kyle, can I actually use a piece of my armor to get out?
Maybe. How are you doing that?
So one of Gunner's armor pieces is a hatchet face helm,
Sure.
and this idiot's just going to start headbutting the ice all around him until he kind of bursts his way out of the ice canister.
So I'll say you can do it 2 ways.
I'm willing to take damage to the armor if I need to.
If you want to take
headbang his way out. I like it.
Yeah.
If you want to take damage to the armor, you can just automatically get out. If you
Okay.
want to roll your power, you can you can still use the armor as a tool, but it won't cost a use.
Okay, well, I'm fine taking damage to the armor. I'll give it a try and see if I can hit it. I have 1 power.
Okay. So it's difficulty, it's 8.
Okay, I can't hit that anyway. Okay, so then, yeah, I'm just going to have to take the damage to the armor piece. Yeah, Gunner headbangs his way out of this ice canister.
Yeah, there's a crack and a crunch, and this big hatchet head helmet comes out of Gunner's ice coffin, and he just kind of slithers out through the hole it makes.
Sorry I'm late to the party, guys.
God.
Skeletons shrieking in around you. They hit you on a 9 on your speed.
Okay, I also have 1 speed.
I believe in you.
Well, I rolled a 6.
Okay, so what armor are you going to take the hit on?
Let's see. I'm going to take it on my iron razor glove. I have a lot of cool shit, you guys.
Oh, yeah, there's tons of cool weapons and armor.
It's ridiculous. It's so great. The tables are so great.
Yeah. So Gunner just kind of lifts up one forearm and kind of blocks the strike and takes it on his glove.
Now,
on
does
his
that
gauntlet.
does that do damage to him or anything?
No, I don't think I have any like Corey's that do damage every time it's hit, but I do have 2 separate armor pieces that do damage to surrounding enemies when it's destroyed.
Oh, okay. So is that the razor glove? So like if
And
it's
the hatchet face helm. I just love saying that phrase.
Splint.
so next round, Austin, you can go first.
Okay.
Skeletons are continuing to pour in. There seems to be no end in sight to them. Beyond, you can see this hellscape, literally from beyond the walls of whatever hell building you're in. And you can see giant bombs dropping down from somewhere above, exploding across hell. That's what's rattling the building.
Okay.
And there's this cluster of computers nearby, which the cyber skeletons are scrabbling over and destroying. You can see various indicators, and a voice calls out, X operation progress indicator, 90%. And then that voice, as the skeleton rips the speaker off the wall and hoists it over his head like some sort of primitive.
So Gunner looks out at the landscape for a moment back before he turns back to the skeletons, being like, looks like we finally made it to Toledo. And then he draws his flash gun, which is Very specific type of weapon. But I'm going to say this is kind of just a type of blaster. It does regular attack damage, but it also lights up the area around us, revealing hidden enemies, and can also surprise enemies. So I'm just going to say this is like a regular gun, but with like super bright tracers. And so he's just going to fire a volley into the group of skeletons as they come kind of hurtling at him.
Okay. They got an 8 on their speed.
Okay. I have 3D for aim.
Do you want to push the gun?
Not yet. I'm going to see how I do here. Should have pushed. I got a 6.
Yeah, so the bullets are knocking into skeletons, blowing off chunks of bone, but they don't seem to care.
Should have pushed is what I said after my C-section.
They're going to hit you on a 10.
Okay.
On your speed.
Okay. So that means I'm going to be taking a hit on some armor. I will take one to the razor glove again. Actually, how many attacks is it, Kyle? Is it just one?
Well, it's just the one hit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, here's a question then. I'm not sure how this works. One of my other armor pieces is called shield glove, which actually counts as -1 attack if it's hit. Mm-hmm. How does that work? Does that only work if I'm taking additional hits to the one that does damage?
Yeah, it's probably when there's multiple opponents. I'm just counting all. There's like 30 skeletons in the room now, and I'm not rolling 30 different attacks, so I'm just counting them as all one large attacker.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to save that one. I'll say I take a hit on my other piece of armor, my junk halberd.
Which is literally like junk that's chained together as armor.
Yeah, I can use it to repair weapons and stuff if I need to.
It's a whole bunch of soda pop rings together. If you ever fight a porpoise, you're going to fuck him up.
I thought it was just a bunch of Betamax tapes.
Well,
Corey, you're next. So, Corey, you see Gunnar being pushed towards the opening. There's another main entrance out of here, not the one the skeletons came in. They burst through the wall. And you could also see, through the melee, there are these rows of lockers stuffed with armor and weapons.
I also see a cyber skeleton smashing speakers.
Yes, that also happened. Doing some property damage.
Did you mean to be alliterative there, or are you just taking advantage of your character's speaking tendencies?
She's bilingual as well. Senor.
What do you want to do?
Well, I like the idea of lockers full of equipment, so we can add more equipment to what we already have.
Sure, you can...
Or gear, I should say.
You can fight the skeletons. You could rifle through there for gear and not fight the skeletons. You could try to escape. You could fiddle with the computers, maybe play Tetris.
So when Ingrid notices the lockers full of gear, she goes, "That seems serendipitous, and I will search." She's going to search the lockers.
Okay. What stat or skill are you going to use here? I think probably wits. Or wits or speed, depending on how your character's going about it.
Yeah, I think she's trying to do it quickly, so she's going to use speed.
Okay, so searching through for useful gear in hell during a bombardment with rampaging cyber skeletons all around. I'm going to say that's just average difficult.
Okay. Yeah.
I rolled a 5, so...
Okay. I got 3 in speed. I got a 6. Wow. A 6.
Roll a 1d6.
5.
Okay, roll 2d20.
Got a 9 and an 8.
So for this, for the gear list, you add those together.
Okay, 17.
So you're going through these lockers. Some are filled with basic gear, some with armor, and some are filled with the weirder war gear of hell. And you're going through you pull out just this strand of bullets, and then under that is a book. And it says on the cover, Lucifer's Truth. Now, if you read this, you'll learn a secret of hell.
Oh, okay.
Now, at the time, you don't have time to read.
Yeah.
On account of everything that's going on.
Right.
Because right when you pick it up, a bunch of skeletons grab you from behind and drag you down.
Oh.
So they're attacking you on a 10.
And I roll my speed.
Yep.
That's 3. I rolled 10.
Okay. Skeletons are pulling you back. Reading is for losers! Trying to take the book, but you managed to fight them off. Todd, you've watched all this go on. The skeletons have Gunnar and Ingrid.
Now, Kyle, one of Captain Olaf's pieces of armor is jump boots. I believe that gives me the ability to move twice. At least that's what I wrote down.
I'll trust you.
Okay. Which basically that means 2 actions, correct?
Well, so there are moves. There's 3 kind of ranges in the game. At arm's length, which is close combat. Kind of over there, which is some intermediate distance, and then basically out of range. So, but essentially, I'd let you you could move anywhere in the room with just a single move. But with that, you could get out of the room. You could fly through the hole, or you could go through the door, or whatever you wanted.
I think it's battle hammer time.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can attack the skeletons with the battle hammer, I'm assuming.
Of course you can.
I'm assuming that would be power.
Oh, yeah. For melee, absolutely.
I don't get like a bonus for the weapon. I just use...
So not unless you push it. There's a mechanic called pushing. And essentially, you can strive to get the most out of the weapon. You get extra dice, extra attacks. But if you don't do that, then it doesn't cost any hits to use it.
If I push it, I mark one of the 3 uses off, right?
It's my favorite salt and pepper song.
Push it. So,
Are they metal? I like Slayer. Stupendous. She's in me a bitch.
Corey's playing another character with lockjaw.
So the lab does have some music going.
Oh.
It's hell. It's Milli Vanilli.
Apparently it's Canada.
okay, so Captain Olaf says, "Good brother, good sister, hello. This is your captain speaking." Then he turns to the skeletons and says, "I am not your captain. I am your death." And he starts swinging the battle hammer.
Nice. Okay, roll your power. Now I rolled their speed and got a 5.
Okay.
So not great for me.
So my power is 2d6, and I rolled a 9.
All right. So Olaf is smashing through skeletons, bits of bone, cybernetic, undead parts flying everywhere. Crescendo of bombs is growing louder. Dust falls from the roof. One of the side doors opens, and a short, hunchbacked man with red lens goggles, burn scars all over his body. He's got his black apron. He comes through. He's carrying this armful of papers and computer. Let's say it's hell, so they would probably use discs from like the 80s. Floppy disks.
Floppies, yeah.
Any software is made up of about 17 discs.
All of the computers are Commodore 64s.
He looks around. Ah, my precious weapons, my creations. Your sleep is done now. Sons and daughters, it is time to fulfill your final bloody purpose. Kill them all for Asmodeus' glory. Go! And he points towards the hole. And you feel an overwhelming impulse to do as he commands.
Salutations, sir.
Hello! Rollo!
Yeah, I'm feeling it, says Gunner.
Go! Cleanse!
He's down with it.
Good brother, good sister, let us go towards the hole. Let us go away.
Find the updraft. Go to the surface. Ha 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 ha! For Asmodeus and the flies of Beelzebub and the stink of sweat.
Stink of sweat.
Corey, it's your turn.
So there's still a shit ton of skeletons around, right?
There's a bunch. They're busy. There's a lot of lab to break, but there's a bunch of skeletons, yeah.
But we're being drawn to the hole that they made in the wall.
Yeah, he's directing you to go out that way. You can see, the rest of hell out there. And this massive updraft, this hole in the ceiling of hell, as you speak.
A portal.
Yeah. And you can see the bombs falling, and they essentially appear at the roof of hell, teleported in, and then fall and crash into the mountain and cityscape of the infernal plane.
So someone is attacking hell.
Yeah,
seems like a bad
it's the war
thing
pigs.
to do. Oh, it's the
Definitely
war pigs.
the war pigs.
Oh, okay. So Ingrid is compelled to go to the portal as she's been commanded by this accountant.
My name is Harger. Dr. Harger.
So I guess she's going to head that way.
So this hole in the wall of the laboratory, you can see hell outside of it, and you're on sub-high floor of the building. And below you are the ash wastes, and the updraft is kind of sweeping up the side of the building towards this huge crack in the roof of hell. Everything smells like smoke. No fire alarm. You're assuming those have all been removed from hell for quite a few years now.
I'm kind of confused as to why they would have installed them in the first place.
Well, because it's called codes, Todd.
All right.
That's right.
Well, it's hell, so
That's
it's not that they've been disabled. It's just that they're constantly low on battery.
It's just a beep every 20 minutes forever. And you can never find where it is.
It stands to reason that's where OSHA is from.
They have a very elaborate underpalace in hell. Everything's to code. All of the bone walls and blood pools are perfectly to code.
You cannot draw an accurate depiction of a demon without including the clipboard.
Okay. Yeah, Ingrid's heading towards the portal.
Yeah, and in this updraft, as it gusts, like you can see rocks and bodies being yanked up out through this roof towards the surface of the planet.
I will go to the sky shuck.
Okay, so, I mean, you can just jump out the window if you wish.
Okay, I do that.
Ingrid leaps out the window into the updraft and is yanked up towards the surface. So you're going to be pulled in.
Shwee!
The fall to the sky. Austin, what do you do?
Gunner's going to try to shoot his way out.
Okay.
So as he goes, just literally spinning, like firing his flash gun in all directions, laughing as he kind of hurtles out the window right behind Ingrid.
Harger's laughing. Yes, go! Shoot to kill! Shoot to live! Todd, your turn.
Olaf, he's been smacking skeletons with his battle hammer. He sees Ingrid and Gunnar both sucked out of the window, and so he turns to Hagar? Harger.
Dr. Harger.
And says, I must now go and join my brother and my sister. I do not know why, but I do know it is something that I must do. And then he leaps into the window.
Harger is just laughing. Yes, fly, fly! Fly, my beauties, to your great purpose. For Lucifer, long may hell reign! Ha ha! And then there's an explosion and he disappears. So, the three of you are in the fall to the sky, the massive updrift, ripping you into bodies and dead demons and cyber skeletons and rocks and DVD players up towards the surface of the earth.
Sorry, printers.
It's mostly printers.
Yeah, oh god.
It's a cameo from, what was the Transformers character?
Springtrap.
Springtrap. A little Easter egg for everybody.
I love the S Squad.
So each of you can kind of maneuver as if you were skydiving against gravity, using your speed to avoid all the debris.
Okay.
So it's you roll your speed versus my 3D. So
Okay.
we'll all roll at the same time. If you fail, you die. I rolled an 11.
Ingrid got a 10.
I have 1 speed, so I rolled a 4.
Okay.
Olaf rolled a 15.
Olaf is fine. Half of a UPS truck flies out of nowhere on fire with the driver. It's just this wraith. And he slams into Gunnar and Ingrid, and they are just smashed into atoms.
Oh, I've been hit by Brown.
Okay, Todd, roll one more time. 13.
I rolled an 11.
So you dodge through the UPS truck, and then there's just a rain of swords for no reason. Just hundreds of swords and just cut you to ribbons. And sometime later, you all awaken on the blasted surface of the earth. Mark 1 death at the bottom of your sheet.
Oh, gosh dang.
So, on the surface, you awaken in this ruined desert. You can still hear this sound of raging wind. And nearby, you could see the hellhole, massive fire billowing out of it, rain of hell debris all around you. As far as you can tell, you're the only Operation X immortals that came up from the depths. You're on Earth, gray sky above you, and in the far distance, if you squint, in the far orbit, you think you can see the tomb ships, the Leviathan spacecraft of the War Pigs. But much closer to that, far above you, is a massive weapons platform, obviously War Pigs technology, and it is the one dropping the bombs down on Hell. And you could see bombs raining down from it, teleporting through the ground. And you know instinctively, this is what Harger was sending you to destroy. Much closer to that, though, you can see a woman, a human woman, dressed in war gear, with the emblem of the Screaming Skulls on her, the human resistance fighters.
And by war gear, we're not talking about like army fatigues. We're talking like Fallout suits.
Yeah, there's no standardized uniform. It's,
Yeah.
Salutations, Screaming Skull Sister.
She hefts this huge tri-barreled gun, levels it at you, looking at you carefully. I'm Captain Vara. Who are you?
Ingrid, Rose's daughter.
What?
Rose's daughter.
Is that those chewy candies, the caramel? They get cut in your teeth?
Perhaps.
She shoots.
Mark 1 death. No.
God damn it.
Am I the only one that loves those?
I like them.
They're
Roll
fine.
those? Okay.
I, too, am a captain. I am Captain Olaf.
And Gunnar jumps up and down in the distant background, just shouting his oath. The Reaper has come! Death to all!
She recognizes that response most normally. Like, that's pretty typical.
Yeah.
What are you doing here? Have you come up from hell?
We absolutely have.
We're here on doctor's orders.
We were awakened in an icy tomb. We were set free There were skeletons. There were computers.
It was a UPS truck.
We have seen many signs and wonders, and we were propelled up to this surface.
I got a Satan book out of a locker.
If I've heard a story like that, I've heard it 1,000 times.
Of course.
So she points up towards the giant floating weapons platform. That is the seed. I assume you've been cast out of hell to destroy it. My screaming skulls and I are here to do the same.
Yes, we are here to destroy this thing that is here.
I am here to destroy all. So that also counts.
I don't trust immortals. I've seen too many humans die to you when you were fighting for the war pigs. And too few of you are loyal to your true species.
But now we are good bad guys.
You're fighting for hell.
I am loyal to death.
If you'll help us take care of the seed, I guess I don't have time to, or much room to get out of your way, so I might as well use you for my own ends.
Let us join together, and we will fight side by side, immortal and skeleton.
Smash seed.
So she's a human. The Screaming Skulls are human freedom fighters.
And we will fight side by side, immortal and human, side by side.
Side by side.
Yes, fine. Saddle up. We attack in 5 minutes.
Shadling.
Can Captain Olaf use his dirge of battle before they attack?
Sure.
What does that do?
I roll 4d6, and if there are any 4, 5s, or 6s, it resolves that I can share with the team.
Oh,
Okay,
fantastic.
cool, yeah.
Cool.
All right, there's 1 4 and there's 1 6, so
Nice.
each of you take a resolve.
Okay, thank you.
My gift to you, my brother and my sister.
Gesture.
You hear this rumble of engines, and Vara leads you over a hill. And in the valley below, there's dozens of combat jet bikes and Screaming Skulls mounting up on them.
Hell yeah.
So each of you can get a jet bike, or you can ride tandem.
Absolutely.
Which one?
I'm going to ride on the front of somebody's.
You can get on my pegs.
So the jet bike gives you +1 speed temporarily and extra 3 armor. Of course, if you use the 3 armor of the jet bike, it explodes.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool.
And because it's fun and we're going to roll on random tables, I'm going to say they have this huge pile of weapons that you guys can sift through.
Okay.
I will let you choose which list you want to roll on.
Okay.
Or you can roll randomly. You can roll on the armor list, the advanced gear list, the spellstones list, or the hell gear list. Or you can roll a d4 and let fate decide.
Gunner wants the hell gear list.
Okay. Corey?
I will do the advanced gear.
Todd?
I will roll a d4.
Oh, good.
It's a 2.
That is the advanced gear.
Cool.
So Todd, roll 2d20 and add them together. Tell me what you get.
19.
And roll again.
21.
You're going through this giant pile of weapons and equipment. You can pick an ecto trap,
Like Ghostbusters?
Yeah.
basically, or a transfuser shield. The transfuser shield for each hit taken also repair 1 other armor 1 hit. The ecto trap grab and contain any supernatural, demonic, infernal, or shadow entity.
I want the ecto trap.
Good choice.
You can get Schleimer.
Corey, basically roll 2d20 twice.
Okay. That's a 10 and a 27.
So you can't use 10 because it's a circuit. So I'm going to slip to the next one, which is Saturn Hammer.
Shattered hammer?
Saturn.
Shattered.
Like the planet Hammer.
Shatner hammer.
It's a
Okay.
+2d to melee, and it's a rocket propel yourself to the attack target. I'm guessing it's like a hammer with like a rocket engine on it.
Into it.
Yeah. That was your first choice. The next one was Smoke Chains.
Smoke change?
Smoke Chains. This is a melee hit. It's +3d to melee, and it kills instantly on a crit. So do you want a hammer that rockets you into an enemy or smoke chains that kill instantly on a crit, but both give you bonus dice to melee?
Smoke chain me.
Okay, so it's a melee weapon, +3d, and you insta-kill on a crit. So now, Austin, you're rolling on the hell list, so roll your 2d20 twice.
Okay. All right, I got 15 and 36.
15, Nightwings, armor, gain flight at will, terrify humans who see you. And 36, Scales of Iduthrax, armor, a dragon skull helmet, indestructible.
Yeah, I'm going to take the dragon scale armor.
Now, I would recommend, if you're going to run this game out there, GMs, you don't let them roll like I'm doing. I'm doing because we're doing this for a couple sessions, and it's awesome. Actually, you know what? Let them do it because it's awesome.
Yeah.
So you're on your jet bikes. The engines are roaring. And, of course, these are like Harley engines, rumbling and coughing, black smoke billowing out.
I have named my bicycle Susan.
And Gunner sits on the handlebars of Susan with his arms outstretched like he's flying.
She like a Titanic.
Olaf is popping a wheelie.
Ooh.
Captain Vara climbs on the back of Olaf's bike. She says, I will ride with you.
You seem nice.
I like you the cut of your jib.
Okay, you can ride with me.
Captains have to stick together. So you and the Screaming Skulls rocket into the sky, sweeping around in a wide arc to descend upon this seed and do glorious battle. Maybe die, maybe live, but whatever, it'll be metal. And we'll end there for this session. So what do you guys think about Viking Death Squad? Pretty tame.
Pretty damn cool.
This is fun.
I like it.
Yeah, it's over the top in the best way.
I like Vikings. I like squads, and pretty cool with death also. So I mean, put those three together. Pretty happy.
So obviously I read the book, but I don't have a lot of time to run games that aren't like already planned out. But I know that at some point I'm going to try to get one of my regular groups to play this because I want to run a campaign of Viking Death Squad.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I like just the multi-genre aspect of the whole thing. I mean, it's cyber, it's hell, it's Vikings, it's just a mashup in the best possible way.
Yeah, and you're gonna have just over the top combat, and yeah, it's actually, again, I think we mentioned this. We didn't plan to run this game and Eat the Reich back to back. It just sort of fell that way.
Yeah.
But there's kind of a lot of similarities between those games, even though they are just wildly different in terms of the setting.
Yeah.
I can see that. When you play as many games as we do, though, rules definitely start to overlap. And
Yeah.
That is true. That is true. If you're ever listening to our show and you think, they got that totally wrong, you're almost certainly correct.
we get so much shit wrong all the time because we were just barreling through some friggin' games,
Yeah. So I did the math, and I think we've played over 25 games at this point.
That's
or
a
something.
fucking lot.
Wow.
Yeah. And so 25 different rule sets in the past not quite 2 years.
Right.
We're pretty much experts at this point.
Yeah, we're professionals.
I think all the rules just meld together in my brain. I have no idea
Oh my
what
God.
game we play from day to day.
I know, right?
Like,
Well, we were talking earlier, too. We're really glad we decided to go with this format and play different stuff because even with games that we really enjoyed, like we played G.I. Joe longer and Star Trek longer than average, but by the end of those, we were all ready to move on to something else.
Yeah.
I just couldn't imagine us being one of those podcasts that just plays one game,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, more power to them. I guess you'd get really good at if the rule set was complex enough that there was a lot of like fiddly bits that you could get really good at it.
Sure.
That would be an advantage.
There's pros and cons
Oh,
to
yeah.
both,
Yeah.
but
I mean, if you're going to go with something long term, you can focus more on the, building a meaningful narrative and stuff like
Yeah.
that. And we have a lot of fun with the narrative, but a big part of the fun is making up the narrative as we go.
Yeah, and
Even though
we're-
Kyle's not. Kyle plans this shit out in advance. We just kind of make up our characters' arcs as we find fun stuff to engage with.
And I think we can get into more dumb trouble if we play a lot of different games.
oh, absolutely.
Because I can kill you all with this seed in the next session. It don't even matter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll be back.
We'll play another game. Or I'll make you use more of the pre-gens from the
Oh,
Viking
yeah.
Death Squad.
I was about to say, I don't want to quit this early on this. This is
No,
pretty
no.
fun, and the adventure sounds like it's going to be very cool.
Yeah. It's, it's not long. This is not going to be like our sojourn in G.I. Joe.
Yeah.
But I could just have you guys rolling random tables and just get different pieces of equipment for an hour. That's
yeah.
what we're doing next session. Just no.
Yeah, next week we're just going to read off the list of equipment and marvel at how fucking metal each part is.
It's pretty cool.
I'll be honest, as fun as most of the games are that we play, the ones where we do character creation, or like our session zeros, that is one of my favorite things that we do.
Oh, yeah.
Here. It's
Absolutely. Yeah.
very, very fun.
Well,
to do
it's
that.
like, if you're a musician, the fun part is writing the music.
Right.
Playing it is fun, but the writing, at least for me, is the really fun part.
Though some games definitely have more interesting character creation rules than
yes.
others.
Yeah.
So if you want to check out the game, check out runehammer.online. That's the website. You can also find their products on DriveThruRPG. They're on YouTube. And actually, this game is distributed by Modifius, too. So if you are a big fan of Modifius, you can get it through their website. And you should send them a letter and tell them they should organize GMs to run it at games like Gen Con. Because more people should play Viking Death Squad.
Oh, yeah.
And thank you to our sponsor, Barrel and Bond, 100 Broadway Street in beautiful downtown Paducah, right on the banks of the Ohio River.
Watch out for the portal.
I peed on a skeleton the other day.
And if you're out there looking for new games to play and want to continue to be metal as fuck, don't forget to check out the metal dice over at norsefoundry.com.
And I believe there's a discount code.
There is.
You're shitting me.
No, I'm serious.
Cool.
Yeah. Enter CHAM as the promo code at checkout for 10% off. That's CHAM.
Norse Foundry. We like them.
Marketing geniuses over here at the old bastard quest.
Yeah. Thank you to all our Patreon members. We definitely appreciate your support and the nonsense you get up to on our Discord.
Yeah. And it's because of your support that we're able to get new and exciting games like this.
Yeah, if you want to join the Patreon, that's patreon.com/bastardquest. We got bonus episodes up there, usually session zeros, but we recently started putting up episodes of a very old Dungeons & Dragons campaign we did on our old podcast. And it's ridiculous, and it sounds like shit, but it's fun.
Well, thank you for listening. I'm Kyle.
I'm Todd.
Corey.
I'm Austin.